I see Janelle was joined there. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome. I hope you can hear me. Awesome, 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 awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, welcome everyone. So it's this is the first time on Instagram, and one is a little bit anxious about it, but in declaring that I come from or rather let me start by saying I'm one of the blessed people who come from who still remembers what a fax number is. So bear with me. I'm going to roll with the punches and do my best to be able to answer all the questions that are coming up here on the screen. And those who, also the answers, the questions that were submitted via the Pelegeza page. I suspect those who are on the Pelegeza page will just need to jump in and join me on this page here to can be able to follow our discussion here. So, yes. Once again, I really appreciate your time to be joining me on this, special time, as I would say, Heritage Day. There's so much to celebrate in not only South Africa but across Africa. There's quite a lot of depth, and I want us to really also talk about that as we are discussing throughout the engagement here. But first things first, I want to say I am so grateful to can really be joining you here on Instagram and really declare that I love what I do, and I really continue doing what I love doing, and I wouldn't have been even more grateful to be working with a team that I work with. They really make my days special. And in having dreamt where we are now as a team Pelegeza, it really delights me to be waking up every day, and it really feels like one doesn't work. You wake up and then there are a few activities in between, and then you go and sleep, and it's the next day on repeat. So I'm really loving what I'm doing, and yes, thank you team Pelegezi. I look forward to a long journey and an exciting time ahead. We've are 5 years old now. We're celebrating and have been celebrating since last month, July. And it's been quite a journey, and we continue to really marvel in enjoying very solid clients who also keep supporting us throughout the journey here. And not only the clients we've got, I am grateful to have a solid team also of supporters and people who are far smarter than you would imagine. So who really make the wheels work behind Pelegeza, and our social media guys, they are putting a big effort in making sure that we are reaching out to our clients and community at large, and the people we really service in how we reach out to the people on the ground. So not only support them, people who really have been through the journey with me, through the challenges, the rejections, and just being the support and being cheerleaders for when the chips were down, given that things haven't been easy through the journey. But yes, today I'm here to celebrate really the success of a dream that has been sparked while one was young. As I said, my aim was really to just create an environment or a working environment where all of us can work in harmony without really stepping on each other's toes, and being open, and just really a fertile work environment. And to do that, I had to really surround and immerse myself with people who are knowledgeable in terms of human relations and human resources. And there's quite a varied number of psychologists that are on our employ, be it clinical and industrial psychologists, who we really deploy quite often on projects. And I think most of them will attest that the environment that is Pelegeza is really fulfilling. Really, I mean, it's open. It's really what I had dreamt of. And in answering one of the questions that came in earlier, why did I start or join the company? I started it because I was just tired of really not being fulfilled in a sense in most environments that I've worked in. Very goal-driven environments, and leaving out the softer or the human side of really interactions, which is really what makes us who we are. And I suspect Pelegeza really accommodates and really we avail such an environment where people feel free to be who they are. And I've seen a whole lot of creation and a whole lot of creativity coming from really availing such an environment. And what I have also seen in having achieved such an environment is that you can plug it at any place. When you have people who are working in harmony and in unison, doesn't matter the circumstances or the environments that you find yourself in. And I've lived through most harshest of times with my team, with the journey that we've been as Pelegeza. And but the underlying demeanor of the entire team is that we march ahead with the goals and the ideas that we've set ahead. So I think I wish for any organization to really be able to achieve that, because it really creates miracles if you enable people to really bring their best out into an environment. And I want to go back to another question here. It says, what does a typical day look like for a CEO? I think in 2 words: crazy busy. And on a daily basis, that's how it goes. And I start my days very early. I mean, by 4 o'clock I'm already up. And first of all, you want to start with oneself and really being with oneself, and prepare yourself for the day, really mentally and in whole. And from there, you can crack the whip and do whatever you do moving forward. And then 9 o'clock is only time that you can really switch off and go back. So it's a crazy day. In between, you want to also include self-fulfillment, etc. So I'm very grateful for an environment of Pelegeza because of the way we are structured or organized. We work virtually, and it wasn't by really design initially. It was purely because of cost saving, given the challenges that we had at the time. and we then had to really model ourselves to work virtually. And when the COVID came, we were ready to start running, and we were met with no challenges, and it really felt like we were far more readier than our clients, because often enough we were not able to transact with them, in that they were not reachable or contactable, but ours, obviously through pain and suffering over a long period, can be able to be virtual prior to COVID. It was a challenge because we kissed a lot of frogs in in trying to really install virtual systems. But now we are sound, and we do all our assessments and all our workshops, and moving forward also with our plans for the next 5 years, we really are modeling ourselves to be fully virtual, and in line with where the fourth industrial revolution is going. So going back again, let's see what more questions here. I hope you can all hear me audibly. I see. Yeah, Lehlohonolo HR is there. Yes, right. Now let's continue. I hope you can hear me audibly, right? So there's a question here. What is the most important to your organization mission, vision, and values? I think I've spoken about that quite a lot in really saying that we, as a team, value work-life balance in how we approach work, and we found that working virtually and organizing ourselves in that way has really benefited us, not just from an organizational point of view, but as individuals, because we are able to then include your ordinary activities where you wouldn't be able to include, and there's synchrony in how we work, and it feels like people apply themselves when they are at their best in how we are working, and the conveyor belt is working perfectly. So I feel, our team and our environment is a happy environment to work in, and my vision is really to maintain that into the future, and really not only maintain it into the future, but duplicate it so that it can become the norm, that environments of work should really resonate with the humankind, not the other way around, or the values of humankind. So other questions coming up here. How do you measure success? How do you measure success? I think success often enough is measured very materially, and that's really the one-sided way of measuring success. Yes, it weighs in doing so. However, there are other successes that are not really material and cannot be quantifiable. But I would say, for one to move from point A to point B by self and with own efforts, etc., by whole, is really a measure of success. All I'm saying is that the rhetoric of really just measuring from a barometer of what one has achieved from a material point of view is not correct. There's quite a lot of depth in other measures, experiential wisdom, for instance. That I think is really the biggest barometer to really start using in, gauging real success, because without that which we call success doesn't really hold. It always falls flat. So it's yeah, that's in short. Another question here says, what do you do outside of the office? Which office? Yes, office is ours, I guess, in terms of work time. I've struggled to have an office mentality per se in how I do life. So there is no outside of office time. There is really activities in time, and depending on what one feels like, and there is really an opportunity to do that. If you want to go and walk the dog, you do that, and I do that a lot. But a typical day outside of the working hour would be activities such as that, walking the dog, but mainly spending a whole lot of time in nature. I really enjoy that, just in solitude and just be deep with yourself. So those are some of the things. And there's nature everywhere. You don't need to really walk too far to nature. Even in your garden, there's just nature. You just spend time in the presence of nature. That's what I enjoy the most. And also training. I do a lot of walking and gym, as it were, to keep young. So yeah, and that's mainly what I do. And I try to spare time to myself a lot outside of the office time, to really refresh. So if it's not necessary, so meaning I mute unnecessary activities. If it's not really going to benefit me, I rather not do it and do something else. So I really weigh what I do. Right? I hope I'm still audible. Right? So those who want this on a fax transmittal, I will send it on a fax. But yes, let's continue. And I'm enjoying the Instagram feel. It's not as daunting as I anticipated it to be here. So welcome everyone there. Yes, I'm enjoying it here, having a ball. Well, let's go back to the questions here and see how far we can go. There's quite a lot of questions, and I hope we'll be able to go through all of those. Right, so here's another one that's very interesting. What is the one thing that people do not know about me? A lot. A lot. So I think the most important that I wish to mention is that I've run 9 comrade marathons, and of those 9 I've finished 7. Why it's important to mention that is because what one learns from the race. And if there's any wish, I wish for each and every one of us to really give it a try. Even if you don't finish, just give it a try, because there's so much that you can learn from running that marathon. Or even not if you don't run it, just to watch what people go through there, or what people put themselves through. The resilience and the vigor that despite the hardships and the hills and valleys and aches and pains and muscle aches and all of that, there's so much that I've learned from that. I think also a lot of resilience that sort of comes in how I do business and how I move forward comes from that, because it really oiled me. And then to do it 9 times repeatedly like that, I think it becomes sort of second nature for you to be determined. And often enough, people think that you prepare for it overnight. No, it's a long-term thing that you really have to put one step after another until you feel like I'm ready. And I think that's a good practice for any human to really test themselves to the ultimate, So if there's anything I would wish for anyone to do that, you don't need to do it 9 times, just once is enough. Or even if you don't finish, just try. I think just the spirit of really, starting and moving somewhere is enough to change your mindset to then see things as easy, because running is the same as walking. I mean, you can walk and run, and the perception that you run right through the race is not right. You sometimes you stop and you catch your breath, and you drink water and do all of that. So all of that is part of really refining one's skills to say, an ache sometimes will go away. Not sometimes, actually, it will go away, and the hill will also come to an end. So that's what perhaps people don't know. I have run that many. And by the way, I didn't finish my first. I didn't even get halfway my first. So it was discouraging, but yes, I kept going. And the other that I didn't finish, I finished. However, I missed the finishing line. Yes, by a few seconds. So I'm one of those guys who come crawling there. So I also came shooting off, but it was too late. And I enjoyed the race in any case, because it was really more about the fun along the way and really the competition. And I hope that it comes back again. I look forward to my feet are aching. Oh yes, and perhaps one other thing that you don't know is that I am almost 3 years, actually 3 years from clocking half a century. So yes, I'm a Madala. So yes, comes with wisdom there, right? So I think those are perhaps some of the things that I would wish to share with you. Others can't script here, I suspect, or else I would need to arrest the person who will have access to this clip. But yes, let's just continue with the questions here. I hope we're still fine on time. If I had to choose a career, right? Yeah, and why? If I had to choose a career and why? That's yes. Oh, yeah. There's wow. You see, I think there's a reason why I'm pondering on this, because I really haven't really thought about changing a career, except I've known only this, in how I've been chattering myself. And I don't know whether you can call it a career, but yeah. Yes, I think I would choose this over and over. Yeah, I really would. I would. Otherwise, otherwise I would be of service to humanity. Other than that, but you know, the I've always known to tread on the threshold of risk, and I think it comes naturally, and where people see darkness, I would see light, and so on and so forth, and perhaps that propels me in really remaining where I am, because it doesn't matter what I do or what profession I'm in or what service I'm offering, or it seems that which I am able to bring into the environment is beneficial to the environment and the people. So yes, I wouldn't choose any specific career, but just be with people who are like-minded in creating new ideas and new opportunities, or whatever it is, in changing lives, or really good intentions. That's the career that I would want to change into. But yes, if there's anything that I would remove from what I do in terms of currently and in the future, is the stress. But that comes with a lot of skill, and I'm grateful that I'm able to really manage, or rather deal with it, or see it as it is, and just move on. So I'm really comfortable with this, what I'm doing. As I say, if there's anything else, I would rather just be a stop by for humanity, for any wisdom or whatever it is, but otherwise I'll continue doing what I'm doing. I'll continue pushing the buttons where it needs to be pushed, and we create an environment that is fertile for creativity, as well as for everyone else. Right? And here's another question coming in. I see a lot of people are laughing. I wonder. Right. I hope I'm still audible. I hope I'm still audible. Right. So let's move on. If you had to choose a career, okay, that will answer. What the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week? There's something I wrote somewhere. And this is, perhaps I'll just gather my thoughts around it, but it was on Heritage Day, because it's a very important day, and also an important period. If you look at how united people are in their diversity, in how we celebrate the day, and we all come together in our different ways, including our regalia, and I've got my regalia, so this is a cultural outfit. It's a Pelegezi culture. Teboho, you must mark that. There is such, all right? So we all come to this day with our own regalia, and then we identify with all that we bring with, because that's our own culture, in our segments, as it were, and we're proud of that, and that is what makes us, the people that we are. But in segmenting ourselves with our, regalias, we really need not forget that, our heritage, African heritage, is really based on deeper connection than just our regalia and our own segments of thoughts or segments of doing things, but being really compassionate to oneself or to each other across, which is I suspect what brings a lot of people from even across the world to come and experience that which we have, that cannot be touched, that is the fiber of Africa or South Africa, or so I think we need to really put a spotlight on that, as opposed to just our segments of regalia, but really where we come from as the humans, that we once were kind to each other. We once loved each other. We once would shout across and say, "Mo lo mhlobo wami," without having fear that, that's our heritage. I mean, this is how I know growing up, that you greet your neighbor and you you are kind. You don't, So I think that should really be celebrated more in our regalias, of course, because that's what holds us. It's a thread that holds us together. We can be different, but and that, I think, on this day should be not this day, it's tomorrow, right? It should be the order of the day, in between the meat and the salads and the beer and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's going to be a good day. I look forward to it, and and I see my team is here. I'm not available, please. I'll see you on Monday. No. I'm joking. We've got to continue doing what we do, and as I said, I mean, I really enjoy doing what I'm doing, and it feels like we're not working. So anytime is, when duty calls, we continue. We continue. So I hope I've answered that question, the most interesting thing that I've read or seen this week. But I guess I thought I'd just put a spotlight on, going back to our roots, as it were, which we fail to understand. What is it that it means, going back to your roots. Kindness is a proper root. It's an anchor and all of that. Compassion. So what are you most proud about regarding the company? Yes. What I'm proud about the company is the people who work for the company. The team. I was with them earlier on in really planning a project delivery for Monday, and the energy and just the the flow and everything else that's in between us. It's amazing, and I'm forever grateful for having such a team, and with them understanding, and really we don't need to say a lot. We just signal, and then we know exactly what needs to happen. And I really wish for for any company to really reach that. And I must say it didn't come easy, and they would tell you, the team, that the journey hasn't been easy. I mean, we forced to create this which we have as a business and a unit and so on and so forth. So and I didn't do it by myself, and they, I think, much so made it what it is now, because I just had just ideas, or rather recipes. And recipes without the ingredients, they don't mean nada. And to have my team, and each and every one of them, I mean, they know their strengths, and they also know where to put me, etc., etc. So I've got a boss. And I tread carefully. So I think we need to check on time, otherwise I'll be called to the office. But yes, I mean, the harmony that is really flowing in my team is amazing, and the way they execute tasks is so magical. It feels like we're not working, and some of the projects that we've delivered on, I sometimes shudder in how we've managed to deliver. So yes, I'm proud of what we've achieved so far. We've been running for 5 years now, and proudly that we've really built it from scratch through ups and downs. We've really gone through the mills in withstanding the pressure, or withstanding any challenge that sometimes we feel invincible, that we're not fearful for anything because we've gone through the most, So I think the fiber that it has become in terms of an organization is really that which makes me proud. Not the fiber in terms of just the company, but the people who make the company, as well as the most importantly, the clients who have been through thick and thin when we were, limping and with, no leg to stand on, and they really stuck on with us, and I really appreciate them even more, and proud of their commitment to small business, and to really seeing the bigness or the future that we saw in ourselves also when we started, at ground zero. And then today we have quite a lot of, organizational intelligence that has built over the 5 years, which is really, carrying us through into the next chapter of how we are going to be made up, because our focus is now different as opposed to when we started. So I think the journey that has been the company, also the appreciation of what it has made me to be, or the appreciation of the I don't know how to put this, but the diamond is not rough anymore. It's I've been through a whole lot of friction, friction with the capital F, in terms of really creating this which is now, and I'm forever grateful to also be sitting here in talking to you, and enjoying and being proud of really the brand Pelegeza. And I look forward to walking the journey with, as I said, the team, the clients, the associates, and everyone else who supported us, and the suppliers who remained patient through the times when we really gave him a hard time, and continue to give him a hard time now and again with cash flows. But it's the name of the game, or part of what the challenges are there. But we appreciate their commitment to helping us wherever possible to can deliver on titles of schedules and titles of everything else. So much appreciated. So yes, I'm proud of that, and I'm proud to really walk the next 5 years, and I look forward to maybe chatting again here in 5 years, taking stock of what has become in the journey of Pelegeza, because I think the goals are still high up there. We're really aiming high, and I keep being pushed by my team, as I say, in saying you can't claim to be old. You've got to keep running at our pace. But I keep being lagging behind. But yes, yes, that's in short what I'm really proud of. And if there's anything I could share with everyone, is that we all have recipes of what is it that we want to see as an outcome of our careers, or what we want to do. And I've been very grateful to have a Pelegeza recipe in my head, and in having had the recipe, you are able, if you understand cooking, to bring all the elements together with ease if you know exactly what you want to cook. But if you don't know what you are cooking, and you will just hoy everything, so you'll end up with a poeki, and a poeki tastes nice, but it's everything. So if your recipe is crisp, and I would encourage each and every one of us, to have your recipe crisp, know exactly what is it that you're cooking, right? If you have that, the cooking will be easy and enjoyable. And in highlighting what is it that I'm proud of, finishing off this question here, is that I'm proud that what we are nibbling on now is really the outcome of the recipe that has been really well thought through, and really the elements of, as I said, my team coming in saying, yeah, let's do this. I'll bring the desserts, and I'll bring this, and I'll bring that, and all of that makes a meal. So it's not just a recipe for a main meal. So at the moment, that's what we're experiencing, really, from being proud of a company there. Yes, so if we fast track, so many questions, yeah? So many questions. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for joining. So, as another question here. If I was an inspiring CEO, what would I need to know to one day be a CEO of my own company? If I was an inspiring CEO, or aspiring, I guess, CEO, what would I need to know to one day be a CEO of my own company? I think this one is very easy to answer, guys. I think the recipe analogy really gives it all. You've got to first make sure that your recipe is right in terms of your plans, and etc. What is it that you need, and the ingredients, etc. Or rather, if you have a recipe that is clear, then you will be able to determine whether the ingredients are required. And sometimes you don't even need to know what the ingredients in terms of quantities are. If you know what you want, you would really know the right quantities to put in. You ask any cook, they'll tell you. 200 grams is not 200 grams. It's, and I think, in Durban, in chili is not the same as chili here. So it's very, very important to know what is it that you are cooking to can be able to really get it out. So I've in my journey have gone through a whole lot of rough, and I would say that those roughs are part of the question, answering the question that you mustn't walk away from the rough, walk through the rough. If you slightly bend the pumpkin, don't throw away the whole dish, just scrape it off. And so that's part of the journey. So just be resilient if you know what the outcome of the plan is, and keep refining and really have your goals written down, and make sure that you not just write them down, but you measure and gauge and see, have I achieved this, have I achieved that, have I achieved this, have I achieved that? If not, why not? What can I do? What can I do? So that there is momentum forward. Because sometimes we get mesmerized by just the doing. You find that you're just doing. But it's like, what? Any outcome? No. Doing. And any outcome. So it's not really fashionable to just be busy. Just really be crisp in your recipe. Have plans, and plans not just overnight. There must be solid plans that are achievable segmentally, doing them, and really visit over and over. Right. Now, I hope that's answered. Hope we're still good on time. How's everyone doing? I'm rolling all right from the fax era. So thanks for making it easy for me. What are you most? This has been answered already. It's coming up. What are you most proud about the company? So here's one here, and I guess this, if you don't mind, let it be the last one, and then I can close off. And in appreciating the time here with everyone on a Wednesday evening, is it? No, Thursday evening. That feels like a Friday. Yes, that feels like a Friday. But yes, I look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a splasher. There's going to be color, and a people united. That's what I look forward to seeing. As a resonance of the day tomorrow. And I wish for you to join me in having answered the other earlier question on what the week has been, because it's really live, and everything beautiful starts here in Africa. So let's be outward about celebrating this. As I said, not just with our regalia, but inwardly we must feel like Africans and feel like we love each other. Not actually feel like we love each other. We must love each other and do all of those things. So I look forward to celebrating that. And yes, I'm going to do a walkabout, I guess, in nature again tomorrow. And this weekend I'll do a lot of that. In between my team harassing me on on emails and WhatsApps and so on and so forth, but it's part of the daily regime, I suspect. Right. So I guess in finalizing the questions here. What is my personal motto? What is my personal motto? What is my personal motto? Personal motto, right? Yeah. I don't know whether it would be a personal motto, but I really live by this, that if it feels good and right in the heart, you must flow it. I don't know if that makes sense, but deep in my heart, it means quite a lot. To saying that it's easier to flow good. It's easier to flow kindness. It's easier to be compassionate. It's easier to do all of that. And if it feels that, flow it. But if it feels that it brings you turmoil internally, and you'll feel it, don't flow it. And whatever don't flow it means, stick with that, because often enough we fool ourselves in any circumstance or any situation that you will feel it, that this one is not the right one to flow, but you will flow it anyway. And I think the wisdom perhaps that I can add to what I'm saying here, that is that lessons actually come from there, where you realize that what I'm flowing is not feeling good. As soon as you identify that what you're flowing is not good, because at the moment the whole lot of us, we're just flowing, whether it feels good or not, doesn't matter, just flow it. And really we're damaging ourselves as humanity, because no one is going to repair you but yourself in the damage that you are making. Because, as I say, it's easy. If it feels good, flow it. If it doesn't feel good, don't flow it, and then you will just mute the not feeling good. I hope it makes sense. But yeah, I think my personal motto is just to be kind to myself. I appreciate peace. I appreciate all that comes with that which resonate with peace, and just being kind. So yeah, if it feels good, flow it. If it feels good, flow it non-stop, and magic will happen. I see people are ready for dishing out supper. So let me not keep you longer, but just perhaps say thank you very much for joining me tonight. It has been an honor and a privilege to be amongst everyone. And yes, next time I'll bring my fax machine also. Show you mine, I'll show you mine, I'll show you yours. Yes, so yes, it's been good, and I wish you a very beautiful day tomorrow, and many more youthful and happy days ahead. And we are, as per years, are really aiming sky high in our plans, and we will keep you updated of the latest that are coming up. We've got some exciting stuff coming in, expanding and growing our business. So keep it locked, and listen up on our social media in what's going on. We'll be announcing quite soon in a few weeks or so. So yes, Thank you. It's been great, and I hope I am on time, and you may please have yourselves a good evening, and I look forward to chatting again, and so much grateful for the opportunity, and for you making time to come and listen to an old man.